Yeah, there we go. Everybody, welcome. This is episode 34 today, and I'm really pleased to introduce Mo Muse, who is the founding director of Muse Architects, who are Manchester based. Muse Architects, Mo, have been going for 16, coming on 17 years, is that right? And yeah, welcome, Mo. Tell us all about who you are, your story. You've got a fascinating backstory. I know that
Yeah.
most of your projects now kind of are across Manchester and Northwest, but prior to that, you've done some stuff all around the world, haven't you? So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about this and tell us more, basically.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for having us. Well, a quick background story about
Mm,
myself. I'm Mo, Muse Architect. We established a few years back, but before that, I was working on larger projects and bigger practices. We've done anything from airports to prisons to
okay.
hospitals to urban planning.
Yep.
And then I genuinely just had enough. And I thought, you know what? I can't deal with the kind of politics of larger practices
Yeah.
where growth has been limited. So we started Muse Architect, and at the start, honestly, it's been a roller coaster,
Yeah.
especially trying to compete with knowing who you are, what you
Yeah.
are capable of. So the very early days were really difficult, but
Yeah.
then you just push through it. And it's just human personality. I'm very stubborn, and if someone says no to me, I'll
Yeah.
just be on it and be, working 24 hours, 7 days a
Yeah.
week if I have
Yeah. Yeah.
to until
Yeah.
I get there. So that worked really well.
And what
The
was this?
team
Was
has
2009? Is that right? So quite a while ago now. Is that right?
so 2009 is when Muse Architect has started, but I
Yeah.
was still working
Okay.
for other practices.
Yeah.
So it was just something that I would do in the background on my
Okay.
free time
Yeah.
while I'm also working in these other practices.
Yep.
So once that is continued around just before COVID time, I thought, it's time to jump. It's time to make it like,
Yeah.
my full-time job, basically.
Yep.
Um, and then COVID came, and things were just not the best
Yeah.
time to start. It's been great. It's been great. So we started with small extensions and, um, remodeling houses and things like that. And
Yeah.
then now we're doing anything from event centers to urban spaces and working with councils.
Yep.
So it's all networking and it's all word of mouth. And
Yeah.
I'm a great believer that if you do a really good job, it will pay off in the future.
Yeah.
So that's where we are at the moment, and hopefully in the future we'll continue with this growth. We've got a 2-year plan, and then maybe after that we'll slow down and reassess how far we need to go for the next, I don't know, 5 years or so.
Yeah. And I mentioned in my intro that historically you've worked, globally, haven't you, on some of these larger projects you mentioned. Was that with other practices, or you've done stuff
It,
globally
it,
on your own since?
it was with other practices,
Yeah.
so anything project based in Singapore, Dubai, um, Jeddah in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
and other places all over the world. And it was quite interesting to see how other architects also work
Yeah.
and to learn from different disciplines and how they also um, sort out these problems that are very local to them at that moment.
Yeah.
But for me, my education has been in the UK. Graduated from Salford, and then as an architectural technician, and
Yeah.
then I jumped ship and continue with
Oh,
the
okay.
architectural route.
I didn't
Um,
realize that. Okay. Yeah. So
yeah,
you've
yeah,
been studying since you're about three, then, basically. Yeah.
yeah, practically, yeah. Every day
Yeah.
is a school day for me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay. So you did the whole
so
technician. You got qualified as an architectural
qualif
technician. Yeah.
qualified as a technician,
Yeah.
and then I just basically hated it. And
Okay.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
was sat down and was doing some of the works that I thought I would enjoy as a
Yeah.
technician, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Um, so I moved to um, John Moores,
Yeah.
Liverpool,
Yeah.
and I've done the full part one and part two, and then did my part three in Birmingham,
Yep.
and then came back to Manchester. And during that time, I was still working.
Yeah.
I was still doing the works in Muse Architects on my weekends and at night
Wow. Yeah. Fair
during
play.
my education.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
for me, I'm just I can't stop. Like, yeah, I need something to do,
Yeah.
and I think
It sounds it. Yeah.
yeah, I think architecture is my remedy. So it's
Yeah.
it's been great. It's been great.
That is good. So you went, so obviously part one, then you did time in practice, and then part two, and yeah, so on. You did that standard route, if you will, after becoming a technician. So you've done the
Yeah,
whole lot. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Basically, so
So
it's,
when
it's
when
been
did you?
good. And
Yeah, go on.
so that I qualified as a technician in 2008, and then, as you remember, 2008 wasn't the
The
greatest time.
financial,
There's
yeah,
a financial crash, and
yeah,
for me, I remember sending 200 letters to all these practices that I wanted
wow,
to work for,
yeah,
and everyone was just surviving, basically.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah,
cutting it to the bare core of the teams that they require. Nevertheless, I've managed to get a place, and it was
yeah,
really nice in terms of the team themselves. But the work that I thought I would do as an architectural technician or as an
yeah.
architectural designer, it wasn't what I thought it would be, especially in
Okay,
university where we were doing a lot of technical stuff, but a
yeah,
lot of theoretical things. And I've enjoyed the architectural theory and in
yeah,
architectural research of creating something from scratch rather than
yeah,
just doing the CAD details. So moving to John Moores, that's been um, really insightful for me.
yeah.
And the reason being, it's a very artistic school.
Hmm.
I'm really proud of it, and I try every summer to go and see their open days and see what the students have been up
Yeah,
to.
that's really good. Yeah, yeah.
And for me to also give back, I also mentor and support students from
Still,
Salford.
still. Oh, from Salford. Okay, yeah,
From
yeah. I was going to
Salford,
say because
so
it's a bit of a
they
trek to go
either
across to Liverpool every day, isn't it? But
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really important for me to, especially when you've seen it all and you practice, to give something back to those who are starting their career.
that's really good.
Um,
Oh, yeah,
so
that's
some
really
of the
good.
students, either we do it online or they
Yeah,
come to the office and they see us work.
yep,
So although they're not employed by Muse Architects, but we sit down with them.
yeah,
We go through a live projects that we do. We
yeah,
explain the stages, the rebus stages of work, and they can see it
yeah,
firsthand how an architect would work. And if it's something that they enjoy, then they can, continue through their path. Although sometimes, I don't know if you've seen on my LinkedIn, I tend to say that practice is more important than education, and then I
yeah,
contradict myself,
yeah.
knowing
Why?
how many schools I had to go to. But
Yeah,
honestly, it just boils down to experience, and it boils down to what you can actually bring to the table of
yeah,
any team that you join.
yeah,
And I've seen that in a lot of people that throughout the years, seen them work and seen them flourish within the architecture because they're persistent and they're
yeah,
consistent, and it's something that the the practice would need, and
yeah,
also generally the architectural schools and how they work. They tend to focus on teaching people how to work. It's not just the history and the theory and so on.
yeah,
You don't have someone who's just going to be looking over your shoulder in the middle of the night while you're trying to finish this deadline.
yeah,
And I think that is really important to create people who are self-aware and self-driven.
yeah,
And you tend to see the best of architects are those who just it comes from within. It's
yeah,
not something you can be taught. You either have it or you don't.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree, and it's interesting what you say that I suppose it's the same in any industry pretty much, isn't it? You can learn all day, and you do need to go to uni for this period of time to understand the whole construction process. But until the very day that you're actually on site in practice doing the job, same as anything, isn't it? You can learn to drive a car, but you don't really learn until you're on the road, do you? So
Absolutely,
it's
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. You said it exactly how I would have, and it's honestly, it's not a bad thing. You the knowledge that you get from university,
yeah,
although you might think, and I've thought the same. I
yeah,
sometimes be like, why have I even done that? Why have I could have just started from, I don't know, a national diploma in construction, and then
yeah,
just continued as an apprentice, and then just would have done better. But the knowledge you get, it's
yeah,
it's something that you can't, no one can take that away. you can always add to it, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And
absolutely.
it's important to also learn from experienced people on site. And I tend to, I remember my first time just going to a site construction where, we've got all these degrees and all these book
Yeah,
memorized and all these architectural heroes in my mind, and I just go there and, put my hard hat on and my high
yeah,
vis, and I'm like, where am I? What am I doing here? And you tend to be completely lost because that's not something that we've been taught in school.
yeah,
Um, but it's just part of growth. It's part of building a career. If
yeah.
everything that we know could be taught in university, then we wouldn't be the people that we are today. I mean, the knowledge that we got from any schools that we go to is vital, but
Yeah.
then it's also the experience, the people you met, the mistakes you made through your career. That is what differentiates you from others.
Well, it also shows that you've got the tenacity to stay for these many years to do this. And with architecture, it's a constantly evolving and learning process for your entire career, isn't it? So
Yeah,
you need to show that you have the ability to to commit to those days and long nights of studying, don't you? Basically. Um,
100%, hundred
Although
percent,
people
especially
are now
with.
pushing the apprenticeship route as well, aren't they? Now that's coming through more so than it was years ago,
I
which
would
is
love
also
to
a good
see.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd love to see that more often. I'd love to see students being encouraged to go to university. I
yeah,
mean, it's 7 years for you to become an architect, so
yeah,
you might as well make it 10 years. I don't care. Yeah,
yeah,
at some point you will graduate, but at the
yeah,
same time, you build a career and you've got more experience than someone else 10 years down the line,
yeah,
where he still need to graduate and then get experience.
yeah,
So if anyone was hearing this can take anything from it, especially with younger generation who's just starting on
yeah,
maybe finding a college or finding what they want to do, I would encourage them that architecture is a really rewarding
yeah,
profession. It's something that doesn't stop. Every project that we do is different. And I would encourage them to, figure out a way to study while they also work.
yeah,
That would build their career and build the experience that they need, but at the same time, it shouldn't influence their studies or their theories that they can develop throughout the times. So if they're reading about Frank Lloyd Wright or Peter Zumthor or whoever, they shouldn't that shouldn't impact on the work that they do in today, and they
yeah,
try to mimic these heroes, if you like, study them, understand how you can put their theories into your daily work. It doesn't matter if you're doing an extension or if you're building a new house. There's always something we can learn from the history of
yeah,
architecture.
yeah, yeah. And you, in particular, the route you've gone through from the technologist route through to then switching over is a fabulous example. And this alone, when we show this to the audience, next week, and people get
Yeah,
to read your story, is even if it just gives one 16-year-old, a
100%.
prompt to say that's what I fancy doing, and I saw that because of Mo.
Yeah, no,
That to me is
100%.
excellent. Yeah, yeah.
Honestly,
Um,
yeah, that would be great. That would be great. I remember finishing my architectural technology route, and then when I've jumped to full architecture, where it's
yeah,
theory, daylight, shadows, materiality, and so on, I still had that mentality of a technician. It's not
yeah,
going away because
yeah, yeah,
I've been trained to think on the physical world of how that foundation would work, you
yeah,
know, how these blocks and concrete and columns are going to work. And when you try to strip that away and you try to live the theory and the feeling and the atmosphere of architecture, it was challenging for me to do that.
yeah.
But at the same time, I found the balance between the two worlds, between the
But
the
yeah,
dream world,
you've got
like,
that.
and the
Yeah,
theory.
exactly. You've got the two different aspects that you can give to every project now, can't you? Because
Yeah,
most will do. 99% of people will go down one or the other route. But you've got
yeah.
the benefit. You're like the special forces of architecture, aren't you? Basically, you're like you've got it all. You're a
Although,
highly trained bloke.
yeah, although
So
I tend to get myself in trouble with my opinions on LinkedIn because I
well,
just tend
yeah.
to say whatever comes to mind, and
Do
I
you know, there's
think people
nothing
should
wrong
get
with
the
that. There's nothing. Trust me. When you get to, I'm a 50-year-old bloke, and when you get to my age, say what you think and don't worry about it. That's why.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is this it's we are where we are today, and as you get a lot older, this is not the 70s anymore. And I'm
Mm,
very much of an opinion now. And your LinkedIn that we talked about before we came on camera is brilliant. Your personality shines through,
yeah.
and why on earth not? It's brilliant. It's
Exactly. I think the way people perceive architects is different than what architects actually are. I mean, we've
yeah,
got
yeah,
families, we've got pets, we've got friends. We're normal human beings, and
yeah, yeah,
I would like to have that perceived in the right manner. Although we're very professional, we've got the code of conduct and so on, but
yeah,
at the same time, we should try to be approachable. We should try
yeah,
to, work hard to show a better system of, architecture, an
yeah,
architecture that is human, and that's what I try to, with my
yeah,
humor, try to bring that into life.
yeah.
So it's been good. It's been
It's
great.
brilliant. I mean, what do you see then as with your history coming up through the ranks, if you will? There's a lot of talk nowadays about, obviously, you just mentioned about the protection of being an architect and the legal entity and all the rest of it. There's a lot of talk now about the architecture designer and should a member of public, how does a member of public differentiate between using either or? A lot of talk
Yeah.
about that now. And what's your kind of take on that kind of thing?
I honestly think, well, I've got two opinions, and they are totally against each other. At one
Yeah,
point, I would like to encourage young generation that are jumping into becoming architects, and he would have to work for the next 7 years, 10 years, God knows how long,
yeah,
and he doesn't have a title. His title is architectural technician, sorry, architectural assistant,
yeah,
or an architectural part one assistant, or you're not allowed to be an architect. You're not there yet, and that tend to have sort of a psychological impact on them. They're not good enough, and
yeah,
I've seen amazing part ones and
yeah,
incredible part twos who fully capable of being a project lead.
yeah,
They might not have the experience, but they can call on the experience of their
yeah.
seniors. So part of me sort of encourages that.
Hmm.
The other part is very protective and conservative of the title.
Yeah,
And, a lot of people have worked really hard to earn this title, and especially becoming chartered and so on.
yeah,
So that needs to be protected. Where I draw the line is when the title is abused
yes,
and
yeah,
people try to say they are something that they're not.
yeah,
And I think if you were to call yourself an architectural designer, then you'd have to differentiate that and make it very clear that you're not a
yeah,
chartered or you're not an AAR registered architectural registration board
yeah,
UK architect. You can, I've even seen people call themselves architectural interior architecture.
yeah,
And didn't, no offense to anyone, but it just didn't make sense to me because
yeah,
now we've got interior designer and then we've got
yeah,
interior architect.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, well, just getting a bit confusing here.
yeah,
So as long as you're clear with whoever you're selling your services to,
yeah,
that's where I would draw the line. But if I were to see someone who's claiming that they are an architect, and you can quite easily search their name
yeah,
and find that they're not, then
yeah,
that's an issue. That's an
yeah.
issue that needs to be
I
addressed.
absolutely very well said. I agree with you on that. It's the education, the years you've gone through to get to where you are today. Quite simply, you can check somebody out on the register straight away, can't you? So it's and that's as long as the general public are aware of the two differences and somebody's not trying to be
Mm.
a
Yeah,
cover
but
themselves up. Then yeah, I'm with you on that.
yeah, and the thing is, it's perception. And the general public really care about one thing, which is get the job done.
Yeah,
I've got this
yeah,
building, I've got this empty site. How high can I go on it?
yeah,
Can you get me planning on that? Can you do the building regs pack?
yeah,
And that's the main elements that they care about, unless it's a very specific job that needs tenacity and hard work where you would have to coordinate and sit in a board room where you're leading a multidisciplinary team.
yeah.
So majority of the work that we do, we see that a lot of clients really don't care what the
Mm,
title says. They
yeah,
just care about the job getting done.
yeah,
So if we can educate them that there's differences, and this person have done so and so, and they've achieved that, therefore, and it's not even the experience; it's just the backup knowledge that you've built. All these
Yeah.
books that you've read about, all these different projects that you've seen. Have you traveled, and have you gone to Rome? Do you understand what it means to wake up in Rome with all the church bells?
Yeah.
Have you
Yeah.
seen the sunset on one of these architectural buildings? Do you understand why the architect's done that?
Yeah.
And that is what someone who've gone through the architectural route would understand.
Yeah.
And it's something that is more intricate, it's more philosophical. It's caring about how your extension would feel at 7 a.m., in a cold morning, where you
Yeah.
have made the right decisions, if you've hired the right people who enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
And for me, architecture is a craftsmanship. It's not just a extension, or it's not just a new build, or an event center, or whatever it is. It has to not just look good from the external, but it also has to be felt. Because we live in houses most of our time. We are
Yeah.
indoors.
Yeah.
So if the indoors are not comfortable, they're not achieving what that client or even what that architect anticipated,
Yeah.
then it doesn't matter how great it looks like from the outside. It's just a shell.
Yeah. 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 No, very true.
Yeah.
So your projects, your portfolio on the drawing board at the moment, then what are you most proud of at the moment? What are you working on right now?
There's a large project that we're working on in Rochdale.
Yeah.
It's an old shopping centre, and it's
Okay.
probably one of the biggest that we've worked on
Okay.
as Muse Architects. And we are demolishing that shopping centre. I won't get into a lot of details into it, but hopefully you would see it and you'd be the
Yeah.
first to publish it for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Absolutely. Yeah.
what it is, it's bringing the history back. And the theory behind that project would be to step back to the 1850s, when that shopping centre wasn't there,
Yeah.
and try to relink the route and try to make the space um, more human. So
Okay.
you can walk from one street to the other. You can see um, certain views from these footpaths that you would take, and at
Yeah.
the same time, we're creating a space. So you can call a friend and say, "Yeah, I'll meet you on so and so square."
Yeah.
So it becomes part of the city, and
Yeah.
it's well connected. So that's one of the biggest that we're really proud of, and hopefully we
Yeah.
can share that when in due time.
How
The
far down the
second,
line is that at the moment? Is that?
so that is gone to pre-app.
Yeah.
We're talking to the council now, and they're really excited to see this
Yeah.
develop. And Rochdale have seen an incredible transformation for the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'd be part of that transformation with this new project.
Yeah.
And then we also working with Trafford. There's a few other projects that we do in Trafford. One being Circle Court, which is going to be a internal refurbishment of the block. It's 122 apartments. So internally refurbished, and then externally would be cladded. So that's going through the gateway too. And the whole process of making sure that the building, with its cladding, it's safe, it's habitable,
Yeah.
and we going through that at the moment. So
That's really
these are
good.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
biggest two projects, and on top of that, we've got the event centre that we talked about,
Yeah.
and then we've got some other intricate houses that we're working on, new
Okay.
builds,
Yeah.
and larger extensions that tend to take a lot of our time.
Yeah. So how's the team made up at the moment? How many staff members do you have at present? You and
So currently there's 9 of us,
okay. Yeah.
and that is between architectural technicians,
Yeah.
part two, part ones, architects, and we've got a few other senior architects and team leads
Yeah.
that's going to join us in the new year. So it's been good, and we've really expanded really quickly, and that's why I'm trying to say what I've said before, which is the way I do things is slightly different.
Yeah.
I like to. It's like any project I start. I like to get all these ideas sketched out and continue sketching,
Yeah.
and then refine it. later on. And that's what we're doing with the practice, where we trying to see different ideas and different people and see how we can all work together as a team and build a team that way,
Yeah.
rather than having a listed down approach where you've
Yeah.
got, right, I need this and this and this. It's a journey, and I tend to just go with the journey and just enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then later on, we can refine it and see where we are, where we can develop further. So it's been good.
Do you have like a specific planning expert within the team as well, or do you always uh, send planning out to the relevant people?
No, we've got an internal planning consultant
Yeah.
who solely works with Muse Architects works.
Okay.
So anything that we develop before we send it to the planners,
Yeah.
we have them to review it,
Yeah.
and then they comment on it, and it comes back to the architect. We refine that, we send
Yeah.
it back to our internal consultant, the planning consultant, and then they, we refine it, and
Yeah.
we check the homework basically, and
Yeah.
then we issue it to the council, and we
That's
try
very
to,
good. Yeah.
yeah, we try to tick the boxes basically.
Yeah.
And we've got a procedure where, because we've done this for so long, if you don't tick the boxes and you don't
Yeah.
have that exercise
Yeah.
done properly, it's just not going to work. And
Yeah.
we know what is required. So instead of the council telling us what they need, it's easier for us to build our experiences and add it, refine it, and then send it to them. And that you build a really good relationship with councils, and they
Yeah.
would understand when the project comes from Muse Architects or whoever architects, they have done the homework for them,
Yeah.
and it's smooth. It becomes a smoother planning process. I remember we've done a project in Wimslow, near Manchester, and
Yeah.
the way we've done it, we superloaded the whole project. We've covered all the aspects that we thought that the council would need,
Yeah.
and the client was really generous with us, where they've trusted us with the whole process,
Yeah.
and they said, whatever report you need, whatever approach that you want to take, get it done. So that has actually been amazing for us, where usually the project approval might have taken maybe 4 months or 6 months,
Yeah.
because the council is really busy, and then every time they have to send you a letter and tell you, well, this is not going to work, change this.
Yeah.
If you were to get things done and you put everything on their desk, it makes their job easier.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you've done the homework for them. So that way, we've managed to get the project exactly within 8 weeks approval,
Yeah.
which is something that we're really proud of. So we want to continue and educate the team on how important it is to have that checklist.
Yeah.
And the way I explain it is like, if you go to McDonald's and you just started in McDonald's today,
Yeah.
they would have a list, and they would tell you, have you changed the oil?
Yeah.
Have you cleaned the floors? Have you
Yeah.
done this? Have you done that?
Yeah.
And there's so many people who work there, and everyone do forget. We're only human. So if you have that checklist and you can go through that process,
Yeah.
it makes everyone's life easier.
Yeah. And you ensure the end result is done, isn't it? And that's a really good
Exactly.
way of doing it. And like you say, if you can bring a 4 to 6 month process to 8 weeks, then that's fabulous.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
and we've not done anything differently. We
no.
literally just thought, right, what would I want if I was the planning officer here?
Yeah.
Right? What would I need? Right, the site has trees. I need to understand what these trees are. I need to understand the impact of the shadows.
Yeah.
There's a proximity between the neighbors.
Yeah.
How would this extension impact them? So we've done the daylight analysis and the trees and so on, and
Yeah.
these reports based on what we think. If I was the planning officer,
Yeah.
what would I need? Well,
Yeah.
to make a decision on this, and you make sure that all the information is laid on in front of them, and then
Yeah.
that way, because you've done your homework, the approval is straightforward. It's just technical.
Yeah.
When we tend to see a project that would be difficult in terms of planning, we tend to go for a pre-application
Yeah.
where we sit down with the councils. Right, we understand that this might be a difficult process, but where do we start?
Yeah.
And let them guide us, because they're there for the benefit of the public,
Yeah.
and to make sure that whatever this applicant needs could be achieved.
Yeah.
So they're not, anyone's enemy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people tend to, have a go at them. But if you just try to think as a planning officer, you would see things differently.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to encourage people to do. Just think as if like you are the client.
Yeah.
Think as if like you are the planning officer. Think maybe you're the contractor.
Yeah.
What would you like to see? That way, everyone's life becomes easier because it's a full team. It's
Yeah.
not just me doing my drawing, sending it off, and be like,
Yeah.
okay, good luck.
Yeah.
I'm done. What else do you want from me?
Yeah.
That approach is lazy and doesn't go far.
Yeah, that's an interesting insight, and it's so for the team now. Then there's 9 of you. We've talked about some of the amazing projects you've got on now, and the pre-COVID times when you started and those challenges. What's your kind of 5-year plan from here? What's how does Muse Architects look in 5 years' time? Do you think? How would you like it to be?
I hope we, continue enjoying what we do. I think that's my
Yeah,
priority to
yeah,
to make sure that whatever we do, it gets us moving. It gets us excited about the next projects. It
yeah,
gets us focused on what we can do for the built environment, what we can do for our client.
yeah,
And if we don't even expand and we continue where we are and enjoy every day as it comes, and we enjoy our work, that would be a major achievement for me.
yeah. That's really
But
good to hear. Yeah,
yeah, but and I'm not desperate for the team to just be 50 people, 100
yeah,
people, and any of
yeah,
that,
yeah,
because I've been there,
yeah,
and the sweet spot for us maybe would be 20,
yeah,
and then try to have leads who would support the team, and have different discipline within the team. But that's the feature.
that's down the
Currently,
road. Yeah,
yeah, currently, especially with AI um, coming in, our workflow is much faster.
yeah,
You know, we try to build our own AI library, because the way I look at AI is very simple. It's very simplistic. I look at it just another calculator. You
yeah,
know, in the days where there was no calculators, and then someone discovered that, oh, maybe we can put a chip on
yeah,
a bit of plastic, and that's how I look at it. It's just another tool,
yeah,
and if you know how to use it and you know how to feed the right information into it, and you can make it personal to that
yeah,
practice.
yeah,
So whatever it provides, it has to be personal to the way Muse Architects works,
mm,
or any architectural practice. And I've had quite an interesting conversations with younger practices. They enjoy it, but they say exactly the same, which is just make sure that you don't, you don't follow it. It would try to lead you astray. You would just
yeah,
tell you what you want to hear, but use it as a librarian. You go to the
yeah,
library and you just say, right, I'm looking for a book about this. And you'll be like, yeah, it's in this, chapter, and read that. That's how we use it.
yeah,
We use it as just a tool, just another pencil, another sketchbook, nothing more. And we try to always go back to the architectural history.
yeah,
What did the heroes of architecture that we always look to done in these situations?
yeah,
We try to anchor ourselves in that world,
mm,
rather than fancy CGIs and nice pictures where the sky's the limit, but no one can build us.
yeah,
And we've got copyright issues, and you just like mishmashing things, and it doesn't work. It's
yeah,
not real. So it is good for having 50 different options, let's say,
yeah,
but then maybe only one option works. So that's how we use it. We use it to optioneer a project and try to test certain theories, but then the full design has to be done by someone who've got a perception,
absolutely.
who understands materiality, who've got, because AI doesn't care about these things.
Mm,
We're human beings, and
yeah,
we
yeah,
care about, the shadows and the light, and these elements.
yeah,
The touch of that concrete on your hands.
yeah,
Is it cold? Is it, soft? What is it? These are the certain things that we try to anchor ourselves to.
yeah,
And so far it's been good, but I'd like to see more control being brought into how people are using AI,
yeah,
and I've seen some really weird things happening in the
yeah.
background.
So have I.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I think it would slow down at some point, and I think a lot of, especially larger practices, would start building their own systems. We use Revit all the
Yeah.
time, and I personally have been using Dynamo for years,
Hmm.
where instead of you creating one sheet at a time and click, 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 you can just tell the computer, okay, create me 50 sheets based on this projects that I've done, and these are the names on the sheets.
Yeah.
So technology has been always been there. I mean, even AI has been there, but now has been remodified, and now it talks back to you and so on. It gives you quicker answers,
Yeah.
and that's why people are excited about it. But it's always been around.
Yeah, yeah. It is exciting, but as long as it's used in the correct manner, as you've already mentioned, it's there as a tool to guide.
Yeah,
But like you say, you having the time on a cold winter's morning to go on site, meet the planning officer, that's that will
yeah,
always be, that will always be the way ahead, in my
yeah,
opinion. Yeah.
100%, 100%. And the thing is, like, um, it's an amazing tool. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you are a writer, for example,
Yeah.
right, an author, and you've wrote so many books, and you know how to write,
Yeah.
then someone introduced AI to you, imagine the power that now you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? If you were, let's say, a designer of some kind, and you know how to design, you've genuinely gone through the ranks, and you can design, and now you've
Yeah.
got a tool that can even make you faster. It's just
Yeah.
it's just a acceleration tool.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your background, your passion is very clear for the industry. And what I love about this, when I said the first thing you said, which others perhaps wouldn't, but when I said about what's your next 5 years look like, the first thing you said was as long as I'm having fun, enjoying it, and still loving the profession, that's my number one, and that will roll down to your staff as well. And if that
Yeah.
shines from you as the practice director, then then big things are going to come, aren't they?
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
which is
No,
wonderful.
100%. I
Yeah.
mean, architecture is not, in the construction industry, we're probably the least paid. So, someone who's working on site probably would make more than what an architect would make.
Hmm.
It's a choice. It's a
Yeah.
lifestyle. We wake up in the morning because we really genuinely enjoy
Yeah.
design.
Yeah.
Um, just like a fashion designer would just doesn't want to do anything apart from designing clothes, and that's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
they want to do. So it's the same thing for us, where this is the only thing we're good at.
Yeah.
And if we continue enjoying it and having fun while we're still doing it, I think that
Yeah.
that would be a good achievement. Yeah.
Well, all credit to you and to the business that you've built, and your background, your history is fascinating, and what you've done to date is amazing. I look forward to seeing these other projects that you've mentioned, send them across for us to get them in Architecture Vogue and get them out to, certainly all across the UK and a more global audience, basically. So it sounds amazing. I look forward to seeing it, and thank you for sharing your story with us today. It's been really good to have met you.
I appreciate it, Nick. Thank you so much. God bless.